it's Bouncy here. As a clown, I'm always looking for clown-themed everything, whether that's teapots, lamps, or even toys. But one of my favorite places to find clowns is video games. Just when I think I've found everything, it is a rush when I found something else. Today I'd like to tell you about a wacky little game called Ninja Clowns. That's right, Ninja Clowns. A mashup of two different worlds that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but is every bit as silly and delightful as it can be. Because I always love to do deep dives on everything that I find, I was bummed to find out that Ninja Clowns doesn't have much information out there. The only things I could really find were a few different articles briefly explaining gameplay and letting me know what other games its creator had made. But even that led to a bunch of dead ends and a lot of questions. I did find that Ninja Clowns was created by Strata in 1991. If you look up Strata, you'd find that they are mostly known for their cyberpunk 2D fighter Time Killers. Time Killers, which was modeled after Capcom's Street Fighter II, came after Ninja Clowns in 1992, which means Ninja Clowns predates Time Killers by 1 year. Time Killers is genuinely hilarious. Upon some inspection, other games that Strata has made include Hot Shots Tennis, not to be confused with this Hot Shots Tennis, Strata Bowling, Arlington Horse Racing, Poker Dice, Rim Rock and Basketball, Hard Yardage, Driver's Edge, and Bloodstorm. We'll come back to this. Also, a game called Pairs. I should mention that Pairs was an adult memory game that slowly uncovered a photo of a sexy lady behind it as you got more pairs right. You could pick from 8 different pictures, and it also mentions on the start screen of this game that these images were of the Giphy girls. These girls were very popular on BBS. BBS, which is short for Bulletin Board System, was a pre-internet as we know it way of sharing messages and data with one another, and a place where erotic messages and images really took off. If anything, Pairs is actually a part of the history of erotic images and gaming in the early internet. But even after finding out all of this, I was still curious on what exactly the story behind Strata really was, and I did find an answer. In July of 1985, the company Free Radical Software was founded in the basement of a biochemist, Elaine Hodgson, and a NASA software engineer, Richard Ditton. This company was work for hire and designed software for a gaming firm working with Semaphore Systems and developed championship wrestling for Epix and ported winter games for Amiga and Atari ST before they renamed themselves Incredible Technologies. Then, in 1988, Incredible Technologies developed hardware and software for Capcom Bowling, which was a coin-operated video game that used a trackball to mimic the movement of a bowler's toss. After this, Incredible Technologies made more gaming titles, but this time they did so under the name Strata Games, even though it was still technically Incredible Technologies. So, Strata, the company that made Time Killers, the Capcom-inspired 2D fighter, had actually made a game for Capcom before. But not only did Strata make Capcom Bowling, they also made the hilariously bad Street Fighter the movie The Game. Most video game nerds will know about this game already, but it's crazy to think that the people who were making Ninja Clowns were also making this game and erotic memory pairing games. So, under the name Strata, Incredible Technologies made a 2D fighter inspired by Capcom's Street Fighter II. All the while, they actually made Street Fighter the movie The Game for Capcom under the name Incredible Technologies. And then they went on to copy Mortal Kombat. They even tried to lure fans to play their fighting game Bloodstorm after they poached the actor Daniel Pesina, the actor who played Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile in the first and second Mortal Kombat games to join their game Bloodstorm. They even advertised it on the advertisements for Bloodstorm, how Johnny Cage was now moving over to play Bloodstorm. But bad fighting games aside, there are still games being made by Incredible Technologies, as they have now ventured into making casino games. The Incredible Technologies game list is pretty long and mostly full of sports games, but in 1990 at some point they made DuckTales The Quest for Gold and a Three Stooges game in 1987. But now that we know more about where the game came from and who made it, let's really get into the star of the show, shall we? Ninja Clowns. The basics go as follows. There is a block button that functionally does nothing. There is also an umbrella that literally does nothing. Up plus kick does a very big jump kick, but it unfortunately leaves you wide open. Down plus kick will make you crouch, and pressing aside from here will make you roll around kind of like a bowling ball. Down plus side plus kick will also make you do an instant roll. Forward plus punch plus kick makes you do a short hop hi-ya kick. Forward plus kick is a very useless super jump. Out of all of this nonsense, the move you seem to use the most is the spin, punch plus kick, because spamming this makes it have higher startup and hit stun. There are items in this game, such as a big punching glove, a water hydrant, and I think pies, but because they seldomly appear, they aren't reliable and you really do barely use them. Also, when you die, I think God talks to you, or Zeus. There's also automatic on-site beef with mimes, and upon defeating them, they drop pizza, which is also a health item. The full map has 9 levels. 2 of the 3 labs are bonus stages, and the final lab is where the final boss resides. Also, the map isn't exactly in order, so I've marked it here for you to see. You spar every 3 levels. The game goes as follows. In the very beginning, we see a comic that tells us that deep inside Twisto's lair, he's been transforming the good citizens of Centerville into zombie clones. So the citizens of Centerville send out a literal ninja clown bat symbol to call for help. The first stage, Street 1, has plumbers, businessmen, homeless people, police officers, and zombies as enemies, which is the only time in the game where we see the aforementioned zombie clones look anything like zombies. The boss of this level is a bowler who throws the occasional pins and bowling balls at you. Then you reach the first laboratory. It's worth mentioning that in the 2 lab bonus stages, it really doesn't matter if you break everything or nothing. It will always just say, "Time out, Clowny," and after everything is destroyed, it will give you 100 points. After the first lab, you make your way to the midway. The enemies here are corn dog vendors that throw corn dogs, wind up toy teeth, evil ringleaders, and yeah, Elvis for some reason. There's also bearded ladies. The boss here is really unbelievable because well, you have to really just see this to believe this. She is a sexy chicken in high heels that shoot egg projectiles out of her butt at you, and when you beat her, she turns into a cooked chicken. After this, you come across a sparring minigame where you bow and fight each other. If you are doing multiplayer, you can just smash around with your friends. Once sparring is done, you make your way to Street 2, where the enemies are bikers, plumbers, and for some reason, Girl Scouts selling cookies, but what threw me off is that you actually fight what's implied to be a sex worker here too for some reason. The boss here is iconic. He is literally just a balloon pump with a clown face that makes balloon dog enemies. Then we come upon the second lab, which is once again just another laboratory bonus stage, just like the first lab. Then we go to the big top. The enemies in the big top are tiny clown enemies, but also for some reason Elvis is here again. The final boss of the big top is a magician boss that likes to teleport around and throw rabbits. After this, you just do another sparring minigame until you find yourself at Street 3, where you run into cops, spirited ladies, and hippie enemies. The boss of this level is a really crazy spider clown that immediately bursts into green popcorn after being defeated. You also get a comic right after this where the main clown is like, "Dang, no butter?" After that, you find your way to the fun house where there are a lot of shoot and leave type of enemies that for some reason are all ogres in clown costumes. And the boss for some reason here is a fire breathing boss that kind of looks like a genie, and he literally just spews fire at you whenever he gets hit, which does like half your health. He's actually really annoying. Finally, you end up in the third lab where instead of breaking everything, you fight the final boss, Twisto, who is literally a 3-headed clown dragon in a clown suit, until you get all his health almost all the way down and he pulls a Scooby-Doo movie Scrappy-Doo and runs around as a very tiny demon in platform boots. You then get a comic saying his spell is broken and you ride off in your clown car with everyone saying, "Oh, my hero." My final thoughts are that Ninja Clowns has some of the most silly bosses I think I've ever seen. But there's a clownish charm to it, and in some ways a killer clowns from outer space vibe. I love when regardless of the media, clowning is still clowning. And even if a character like a clown is portrayed as good or evil, there's still the clowny silliness to it. Like a boss being shaped like a balloon pump, a spider clown, or a 3-headed dragon clown that's actually a tiny clown demon in high heels. I guess it's just one of those things you have to see to believe, which is why I wanted to show everyone. I actually played through this game with my brother, and player 2 is an alternate color. This seems to be the easiest way to play it. It's also quite a short game, which was probably cost-effective in arcades for people, since the amount of coins you need to shell out to beat the entire thing probably wasn't as much as some games, which can feel both impossible and entirely too long. I do wish the clown had a bit more ninja qualities and that the items available in different actions had more uses, but I can't sit here and be picky about a game from 1991 that's older than me. I can only just enjoy it for what it is. The cabinet art is also super endearing to me for some reason. I love the silly designs and the concept that there's some sort of clown bat symbol for this ninja clown hero to come into town and start saving everyone. I really hope that you enjoyed learning about such a weird and clownishly silly video game from the past. If you like clowns and weird clown history deep dives, please consider liking and subscribing. Bye bye!